That was quick, wasn't it?
Yes, welcome back. Our last topic this evening is Celebrity Chit Chat. Now, tonight we have an author who has written the ultimate book, Meet the Stars. And we're not talking astronomy here, folks, either. No, she is a self-proclaimed celebrity chaser, and in her book she tells how to meet the stars, where to meet the stars, how to crash their parties, and she's even dated a few along the way. Please help me welcome our special guest, author Missy Laws.
Yay!
Welcome to the show, Missy.
Thank you.
Okay, well, before we start off with the questions, we'd like to present you with our no comment card.
Oh, great. That's
now,
perfect.
use it wisely, because you can only use it once.
Only
during
once?
the questions.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And you never know what we might ask.
Be careful.
Okay, my first question to you is, in trying to meet the stars and the celebrities, aren't these people harder to reach than the actual stars in the heavens? I mean, isn't it very hard to meet these people?
It's really not that difficult. People think it's hard, but that's because they don't really try, and they just assume. And basically, if you just get your research and find out where the person's going to be and use various tactics to get past security from wearing an outrageous costume, sometimes that can get you past security, because the security guard's going to say to himself, no one this ostentatious could possibly be trying to crash security. So that can get you past pretending to be an important person and calling ahead of time to someone who's throwing a celebrity party and saying, hello, I am the secretary for Missy Laws, and she is the Miss Georgia beauty pageant winner, and she will be in town doing some commercials, and make yourself sound important. Totally lie. And they'll go, oh my goodness, yes, we must add your name to the guest list because this is an important
That's
person.
great.
You know?
Well, we're one of the hot spots to meet celebrities, where you can find a lot of celebrities.
If you just even keep your eye on the paper, and there are a lot of charity events, there's the Academy Awards or the Emmys or the Grammys. Every single city in the country has some sort of celebrity events and parties, and basically by reading the paper you can find out what's going on.
And find a ton of stars.
Right. Of course, in Los Angeles there's certain
Yes.
restaurants and nightclubs that are known for that, such as Chasen's, you know, or
You go to
Spires
Chasen's a
and-
lot?
I've been there to a few things.
Now, I would like you to tell our viewers an example. Give us an example of a very high-powered party that you crashed and got into.
Well, the one that I really had the best time at was, this was in 1980 when Reagan was inaugurated into office, and Frank Sinatra had a private party after the gala event, and everybody was there. I remember Charlton Heston and Clint Eastwood and Bob Hope and Johnny Carson and Ethel Merman.
Wouldn't the security be real
Kissinger.
tight?
It was, but you can still get through. And I found out where it was going to be. I knew what hotel it was in. It was in the Madison Hotel there in Washington, D.C. And I went into the lobby of the hotel acting like I knew what I was doing, because you never know when a security guard could be watching.
Right.
Of course, I did not know what I was doing, because you never know what you're doing when you're doing this. And I walked in the door, and all of a sudden I heard this voice behind me, and it was Charlie Pride. And I thought, I bet he's going to this party, right? So I thought, I'll let him get me into this party. So I kind of walked, I followed behind him, and he started ascending the staircase. And at the top of the staircase, I could see two security guards who were watching. They could see, but they were too far away to be able to hear. So I just jumped next to Mr. Pride. Of course, I've never met him in my life before this, and I didn't have anything to say to him. I didn't know what to say, so I thought, well, I'll just pretend that I'm talking. So here I am, say you're Mr. Pride. I'm going,
And he's not even looking at you,
he's
right?
not,
I love
he's
Lucy.
staring at me. He's going, you know, and he
What
and his
is
wife
this
were
girl
looking at me
doing?
like I was insane. But the security guards are smiling at me like, she's with Mr. Pride, I can tell, you know. And I was just putting on a show for them. We walk up to the guards, and I just looked straight ahead. I didn't look at either of them. I acted very confident. Mr. Pride gave his name to this woman at a desk, and we walked right into the party.
All right, you heard it
was
first,
terrific.
folks.
Now, what about when a star has a bad attitude or is known to have a bad reputation, and you want to meet them? Do you go about it in a different way, or?
It's best for someone that falls into that category, or someone who is very standoffish, shy. It's better to get to know their friends first. Someone like Johnny Carson, for example, is kind of, he gets so many people coming up to him that he's very
Leery.
He's very leery of people, which he really has a right to be. So you wouldn't go up to, it's better not to go up to Mr. Carson himself. It's better to get to know Fred DeCordova or Ed McMahon or some of his non-famous friends and get to be their friend first. It's not that you have to spend a year getting to know these people, but 30 minutes even, and let them introduce you to Mr. Carson. Then he's going to say, she's accepted by my friends, and then maybe she's okay, and he's willing to give you more of a chance. So that's what I would suggest.
Okay, you brought us a lot of beautiful photos of yourself with celebrities, and we're going to show them to our viewer. If you could give us a quick rundown and synopsis of each person.
Okay.
Okay, here we have got, let's see, who do we have here? We have Tom Selleck and Missy Laws.
That was at the Emmys several years back. And
Can we get a shot of this? There we go.
yes, I remember it was pretty easy getting in. Basically, there were a lot of people getting through the doorway, and I just kind of jumped in the group of people that were going in and waltzed past the guards because it gets so crazy sometimes.
It sounds like you do that a lot. Jump in with people you don't know and just
Yeah, that's one way to do it. It really is.
Okay, here we've got Wayne Newton.
Now, I have to say about Wayne Newton, of all the different celebrities that I have met, and the sex symbol types, I think that he gets more gorgeous women than anyone else. You wouldn't believe his dressing room. There are, I mean,
You were in the
30
dressing room?
I've been in his dressing room with 30 women sitting around, and they're fighting each other. They hate
But are
each
they
other.
like bimbos or?
They're gorgeous.
they-
I don't know what they are, but I just know that they're very pretty, and they're just like, they hate each other. And you can feel this tension in the air because they're like fighting. They want Wayne, you know, and they don't want this other woman next to them to get him. And it's hysterical, you know, so he's very, very loved by the women, that's for sure.
Another man who's loved by the women. All the women I've loved before.
Yes, he offered me a job working with him.
I bet he did.
And anyway, I had, this was his first appearance when he was at the Universal Amphitheater, and I called up his manager and lied and said I'd met him at Chasen's and that Mr. Iglesias or Julio had told me to come backstage to the show, and his manager goes, oh, well, I guess if Julio told you, you better come over. So he gave me my backstage pass, the manager did, and I went in and I hung out in the dressing room, and Julio said, would you like to work public relations for me? And he offered me a job. I didn't take it at the time, but
My
but that was
Lord.
kind of interesting, you know.
That's great. That's pretty nice.
Have you ever dated any of these celebrities that
Yeah,
you've gone out
I've
with?
dated people like Andy Gibb and John Schneider and Tony Bennett and Mac Davis. And
Now, when you met Andy Gibb, was he doing drugs at that period? Missy?
let's see, maybe I should use this card now. Maybe I better not. I don't know, because I had one date with him, and the date did not work out real well, and I ended up leaving very early, and so I really don't know, because I don't know him. I never knew him real well.
Who have been some of the nicest stars you've met?
I'm very impressed with Tony Randall. I was very impressed with Tony Bennett, Betty White, Dolly Parton.
Do you find that a lot of the older stars seem to be nicer than a lot of the younger ones?
The Brat
newer
Packers?
ones?
Or
Well, I think that a lot of the younger ones, you know, fame comes very quick to them, and it takes them all by surprise, and sometimes they get jaded. But not everyone. It really depends on the person, I think, more than anything.
I'd like to
Can't make
show some more
generalities.
photos, if I may. Here we have the late Liberace.
He was a very nice man, I thought, too. I was very
Was he?
impressed with him. He threw a party one time, I remember, which I thought was kind of funny, because usually I'm trying to get into a celebrity's house, or not a house, but like a party, and he had a private party at his house, and he invited me, which was very unusual. I usually don't get invited to
Is
these
this the
things.
desert home?
This was in Las Vegas, right? And at the end of the party, I had taken a date to the party, and my date and I had said goodbye to everyone, and we left, and we went out the front door, but he had these huge gates there, and you know, we couldn't figure out how to get out the gates, and I was too embarrassed to go back to the door and knock. It's like, I can't get out of your gates, you know. So we started like climbing the gates, and all of a sudden we set off this alarm, you know. And
Oh my
we got
God.
out, but all these police cars came, and I remember Liberace came to the door and goes, I don't know why the alarm went off, and we were like in our car going, oh God.
Now, you probably never set off alarm trying to get into one. but
Right,
getting out of
only
one.
getting out, we set off the alarm. It's pretty funny.
Now, have any celebrities that you haven't dated, but have any like hit on you?
Oh, practically. I mean,
A beautiful girl like you.
well, thank you. But I think that a lot of celebrities hit on people, whether they're beautiful or not. Just they hit on people. I don't know.
Insecurity, or?
I don't know. I don't know. I think men do it in general. I think maybe women do it in general. I don't know. But
Give us a blind
I had a
item.
reputation for turning down celebrities. That
Yes, I read your book.
That was the main thing, and I think because I was so, you know, because I would not go to bed with these people, and I was so standoffish, I think they liked that because I was hard to get, and they're used to women throwing themselves at them, and it was like a lot of them thought of me as their perfect little angel who was so pure and innocent, you know, and for that reason I got marriage proposals, and they were really serious about me. I think more than the people that they just come in and, you know, have sex with and see you later,
Right,
you know, that
right.
kind of thing.
Well, I remember reading about how you met John Schneider, and how you didn't think he'd call you. He said he'd call you after,
he
you
won't
got home,
call.
and you didn't go right home, and then he'd called like 3 times.
Did we date him?
Crazy.
Yeah, I went out with him, yeah.
Is this before Tawny Little?
It was before Tawny, yes.
Is he a nice guy?
Yeah, I thought he was very nice. We're from the same hometown, and that's what I used to kind of start a conversation with him. And it turned out our parents lived down the street from each other, and it gave us something good to talk about. We knew a lot of people.
So you do a lot of research, basically. If you're set on finding Barbara Streisand, then you definitely read up on her, find out where she lives, all those kind of
You find out everything
details.
you can. It always helps. I mean, getting information cannot hurt. I remember one time I wanted to get a date with Hal Needham, the director. This was before he was married. I always thought he was attractive. And he was a good friend of Burt Reynolds. And I had read that he had lived at Burt's guest house, and that, I knew he had done Smokey and the Bandit with Burt Reynolds in some of the movies. And I found this card in a card shop, and it said, "To a wonderful, sexy, handsome man." And on the inside it said, "But enough about Burt Reynolds." And I thought, this is the perfect card for Hal Needham. And I just signed it and sent it to him, and he called me up and asked me out just based on that card. So that shows how important it is to, if you know something about the person, and to personalize and relate it to them.
What about female celebrities? How do you, you can use, sexual attraction and being a pretty woman to meet a man, but how do you approach like a Dolly Parton or a Cher or something like that?
You probably would use, I would use the important person method, and you basically just want to highlight your good qualities and make yourself maybe seem more like they're equal. And the way you dress can do that, kind of maybe exaggerating some of your achievements in life, basically, and making them feel that you are somebody that they would want to talk to and they would want to meet. So kind of along those lines, I would say.
Now he's not a movie, well, he was a movie star, but I mean, my gosh, Missy, you and the president.
Yes.
Now, where was Nancy?
This was at, Walter Annenberg has a party every New Year's down in Palm Springs. And I guess this was about a couple years ago, this picture was. And I wanted to get a picture with the president, and I wanted to get an interview with him for my book, and the picture was for the book also, which it is in the book. And I called the White House first. I thought, I'll just do it the normal, honest way, right? Never do it the normal, honest way. I called the White House and I said, yeah, I'd like to interview the president and get a picture with him. And they laughed in my face. You can't do that. Are you crazy? So I thought, well, I'll just do this myself. And I went over to, I found out that, his group, where everybody was staying, all the people that worked with him. And I went over to that hotel, and I saw these cameras set up outside. And basically, I just got to know some people that worked with the White House press, and I, kind of talked them into inviting me to the party. And at the party, I got to interview the president, and he had not interviewed with the press for 3 weeks. So that was actually an honor in a way to be able to do that. And then I got my little picture and, got to enjoy the party and everything.
Are there any celebrities that you haven't met that you'd like to? I mean, you've probably met everybody by now, Shirley, but...
There's nobody I'd really go to a lot of trouble for, but I would kind of like to meet Richard Nixon out of curiosity, just to see what he's like. And I was thinking, now that Bruce Springsteen is getting divorced, I thought maybe a date with him might be nice. I don't know. And I would love to get into Buckingham Palace or the Vatican or somewhere that would be really tough security. I think that would be fun.
We're running out of time, but I would like to know, the last question is, will this book, it's so juicy, is it going to be like a TV movie of the week, or is there a screenplay?
We've had interest from several people. We don't have any contracts signed yet, but we do have interest from several.
Would you play yourself?
I would love to if they wanted me to, but I'm sure they'd want somebody who was famous to.
Well, you're coming here, girl.
We'll see.
Okay, well, we'd like to thank our very special guest, Missy Laws, for joining the Hollywood Kids.
Yes,
and to thank you properly, we'd like to present you with a gift, but you have to pick it from bag number 1, bag number 2,
or bag number 3.
I'll take 2.
Take 2? I was hoping you wouldn't do that, but...
Why?
The severed hand!
You got it.
We'd also like to present you, though, with a nice Uptime Natural Energy Booster T-shirt from Paris. Woo la la.
Thank you.
Yeah. There you go.
Great. Gosh, I didn't know I was going to get gifts today.
You get a Hollywood Kid pin with our mascot, Trendy Wendy. I don't know if you can get in close up on that. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for being our guest.
Well, thank you.
It's a wonderful book.
Okay, and we'd like to thank you folks at home for watching, and if you'd like to find out any information about our cable TV show, The Hollywood Kid Show, or anything else, just call us or write us. Our address and phone number will appear at the end of the credits. So until next time, dig you later.